All right, welcome back. In our last couple of explainers, we really laid the essential groundwork. We talked about prompt architecture, and we built out pillar one, the role. Well, today we build the skyscraper. We are diving deep into pillar two, the core directive, which is all about precision instruction. And I'm not kidding when I say that mastering this is what separates people who just play around with AI from the true architects who create incredible, tangible value. This is the skill that's going to transform you from a passive user into the director of the entire show.
So let's start with a feeling I am almost positive you've had. You give the AI a role, you ask what feels like a pretty clear question, and the response you get back is just meh. It's this generic textbook summary that, yeah, sure, it's factually correct, but it completely misses the whole point of what you actually needed. And you're just left staring at this wall of text that's basically unusable without you spending a ton of time editing it. That frustration, that's a huge signal. It's your sign that a critical structural element is missing from your blueprint. And the difference here is just, it's night and day. On the left, you've got this vague wish, right? Tell me about marketing. That's going to get you a rambling, unfocused essay. It's basically just a data dump. But on the right, you have an engineered command. It's precise. It tells the AI exactly what to do and who it's for. And the result isn't some pile of random information. It's a sharp, targeted, and immediately usable insight. It's the difference between asking for a pile of bricks and directing the construction of a perfectly laid wall.
So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start by really digging into that architect's frustration. Then we're going to build our instruction piece by piece, starting with the what, then the how, and then the real game changer, the why. And finally, we'll assemble the whole thing into a complete blueprint.
This right here, this is the heart of the problem we are solving today. That frustrating loop of prompting, getting a bad answer, editing, reprompting, that's just pure guesswork. Our goal is to completely replace it with a repeatable, reliable process of engineering. It's about moving from just hoping you get a good response to designing one from the very beginning.
Now to do that, it's going to require a major mental shift. We have to completely redefine the word prompt. From this moment on, a prompt is not a question you ask. I want you to think of it as an architectural blueprint. It is a detailed work order that you, the architect, designed to guide the AI in building the perfect response that you've already pictured in your head. I promise you this one shift in your thinking, from being an asker to being an architect, is going to fundamentally change your results.
So let's start building this blueprint. Every great architectural plan has a central purpose, right? Something that defines the entire structure. Well, in prompt engineering, we call this the core directive, or simply the what. This is the non-negotiable foundation of your entire instruction.
So the what is your core directive. And put simply, it's the main verb of your prompt. It's the action word that kicks the whole thing off. Without a clear, explicit directive, the AI has no purpose. It's like having this incredibly powerful engine with no steering wheel. You know, it might rev and make a lot of noise, but it's not going anywhere useful. The what is the component that points that powerful engine in exactly the right direction. Now, what's absolutely critical to understand here is that each of these action verbs implies a completely different kind of cognitive work. For example, summarize this report is a command for condensation, but analyze this report, that's a command for interpretation and insight. List the key findings is a command for simple data extraction. You see, a weak prompt like, "What about this data?" is just an open invitation for the AI to ramble. But a powerful command like, "Analyze this sales data," that's a directive for actionable insight. Precision starts right here, with this one word. Okay, so once we've clearly defined what we want, the very next layer of our blueprint specifies how we want it done. This is where we add the structural supports and the guardrails to our command. We're setting the constraints, the process, the format the AI absolutely has to follow. This layer is what makes the output totally plug and play for your real-world workflow. And look, this isn't just some nice-to-have feature. The impact is measurable, and it's significant. Research actually shows that adding precise instructions and constraints can boost the accuracy of an AI's response in complex tasks by up to 40%. Just remember, these models work by predicting the next most likely word. When you provide constraints, you dramatically narrow the field of possible answers, forcing the model to focus its predictive power. Precision really does pay dividends. Let's actually look at the types of constraints you can apply. You can control for length, telling the AI to be super concise or really exhaustive. You can dictate the exact format, anything from a simple list to a markdown table, or even machine-readable stuff like JSON. And you can define the style. Asking for a professional, authoritative tone is going to give you a very different result than asking it to write as a skeptical financial analyst. This is how you ensure the output is immediately useful, right out of the box.
Okay, so we've covered the foundation and the structure, the what and the how. But now we get to add the final layer. And this is the component that elevates a good prompt to a truly great one. This is what separates advanced engineering from just basic querying. This is the why.
Let's just pause on this for a second because it is so important. What is the one thing that truly separates a simple request from a strategic directive? What gives the AI true intent?
The answer is adding the why. This is the cognitive game changer. Think about it this way. It's the difference between telling a chef to just chop some vegetables versus telling them to prepare a mirepoix because it's the critical flavor base for a stew. That context, it changes everything. The goal informs the method. The exact same thing is true for AI. So the logic flows in 3 really simple steps. First, you provide the strategic why. For instance, because I need to forecast Q4 revenue for our executive team. Second, the AI doesn't just see a task anymore. It grasps a strategic goal. It understands the audience's executives, so the tone should be formal and data-driven. It knows the purpose is forecasting, so it should prioritize trends. And third, boom, the output is completely transformed from a generic analysis into a sharp strategic document that is perfectly tailored for that specific purpose.
So the crucial point here is that providing the why delivers 3 huge benefits. First, it engineers focus. The AI knows what's important, so it prioritizes the most relevant information. Second, it reduces ambiguity. Context grounds the model in reality, making errors and hallucinations far less likely. And finally, and this is a big one, it achieves strategic alignment. The output isn't just factually correct, it's strategically relevant and valuable to you and your career.
All right, let's see how all these components assemble into a single, powerful blueprint. An instruction that leaves absolutely nothing to chance, and it's engineered from the very start to deliver a high-quality, targeted response every single time.
And here it is, the final blueprint in action. Just look at how these components work in perfect synergy. The what is the core directive. Analyze this sales data. The how provides the structural constraints, limit to 300 words, and present as a markdown table. And the why provides that crucial strategic context, because I need to forecast Q4 revenue for our executive team. An AI that receives this prompt knows exactly what to do, how to structure it, and why it's important. There's literally no room for misinterpretation.
Ultimately, mastering Pillar 2 really comes down to this one fundamental law: consciously leveraging the what, the how, and the why in every single prompt you write. This is the skill that allows you to stop guessing and start engineering. It's what transforms you from someone who just asks questions and hopes for the best into a true architect who directs the exact results they need. After today, you're not just a passive user anymore. You are an architect. You now have the blueprint to design conversations, to structure the AI's thinking, and to engineer the exact output that you envision in your mind. This is the skill that creates incredible, undeniable value in any job, in any industry. You've got the tools. You've got the blueprint. You understand the science behind getting world-class results. So now, you're the architect. The only question left is, what are you going to build first?